So good afternoon. I am overwhelmed by the turnout that we have here today and express deep gratitude from the bottom of my heart. I look around and I can't help but say that when we talk about Luzerne County, this is who we are, right? This is who we are. This is what it's all about. We're having some fun. We're celebrating an icon today. And I just want to again thank you all for coming out. We thought about making this a roast. Didn't think that was a good idea. You know, this all happens at a time, obviously, when Mr. Peanut was just coming out of his shell. So I've got a couple more. Listen, we all remember when I'm not a monocle guy. We all remember when Mr. Peanut was just a little nut. Used a little salty language when he was growing up, but he has been cured of that by now. Little history on Mr. Peanut himself. In 1916, the Planter'S Nut and Chocolate Company ran a contest for a trademark. Antonio Gentile, a resident of Suffolk, Virginia, the peanut growing capital of the state, began sketching possible entries for the contest. He drew a friendly, humanized peanut tumbling, serving nuts, and walking with a dignified cane. One of his sketches won the contest. Mr. Gentile earned $5 and became forever known as the young boy who created Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut himself got a little polish from a graphic artist and went on to a long career as a classy and until recently silent spokes character for their product. Now, there are some people that have worn the Mr. Peanut costume here today. Can you raise your hands and can we give them a round of applause? I stole a part from Bill Kashadis, who printed an article years ago. It's still appropriate today when he talked about how that on most summer nights, an 8-foot-tall Mr. Peanut mascot wearing a black top hat, monocle, and white spats, strode along Wilkes Barre shopping district, handing out free roasted peanuts to children. His intention was to lure their parents to the Planter'S retail store just off Public Square at 10 East Market Street, where they could purchase peanuts as well as trinkets. The store also featured peanut grinders, Mr. Peanut figures sitting astride and peddling large machines that ground the nuts. Children were always fascinated by the activity and would stand to watch the process as long as their parents allowed. Now again, we're here today to celebrate what Mr. Peanut has meant to Wilkes-Barre, what Mr. Peanut has meant to Luzerne County. I mean, let's face it, I look around the crowd, what Mr. Peanut has meant to all of us from the time that we were little kids. So we're very happy that there's now a baby Peanut that will carry on the tradition of what Mr. Peanut has meant. So again, I want to bring up a couple of other people to say a couple of words, and then we have a little surprise for you at the very end. First, I'd like to bring up my boss, the county manager, David Pedri.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Most importantly, we are here because we never miss a chance to talk about a Luzerne County story. We never miss a chance to talk about the amazing things that happen here every single day in Luzerne County. The Planter'S Peanut story, a story from an immigrant, a story of an American dream happens right here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Starts right here in Luzerne County. And thanks to Mr. Peanut and his prodigy, Baby Nut. And I will take this. We are putting out the offer right now. We would love to have Baby Nut come visit us. Meet his ancestral home here in Luzerne County. You can bring Wesley Snipes. You can bring the Kool-Aid guy too. Come on and see what we're doing here in Luzerne County. And this goes out to everybody. We're out here having fun today, but let's never lose sight of the history of who we are. And let's never lose sight of the future of where we're going. Part of where we're going is our beautiful Luzerne County website put together by Teddy Wample and his team. Visit LuzerneCounty.org. You will see amazing things about what is happening in Luzerne County, our history, and all the events that are happening. Thank you very much for coming out today.
Thank you, Dave. Before we go on to our next speaker, I thought I'd share some salty facts, if you will, about Mr. Peanut. That was a list by Jake Ross, and I did steal it from the internet. So just a couple of things. Mr. Peanut was created by a 14-year-old, which we talked about earlier. Mr. Peanut has a full name. I'm going to take a shot at this. It is Bartholomew Richard Fitzgerald Smith. Now you know why they called him Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut once weighed more than 300 pounds. Mr. Peanut survived the Great Depression. Mr. Peanut went to war. This is how long Mr. Peanut's been around. Mr. Peanut is a monocle enthusiast. Mr. Peanut's Nutmobile predates the Wienermobile. Remember that. Mr. Peanut from Wilkes Barre, Pennsylvania is in the Smithsonian. Remember, they've tried to change Mr. Peanut over the years, and a lot of people didn't want that done. Mr. Peanut has a fan club. Mr. Peanut has remained mostly silent. Years ago, Mr. Peanut found a buddy. His sidekick, if you remember, his name was Benson. And in the 1970s, and I love this one, especially with all the politicians here today, Mr. Peanut ran for mayor of Vancouver and received 2,685 ballots. So, yeah. So that's some salty facts about our little nutty buddy. Our next speaker I'd like to bring up is the new mayor of the city of Wilkes Barre to say a couple of words about the birthplace again of Mr. Peanut, Mayor George Brown.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Ted, thank you for inviting me to be here today. I do remember as a young man in Wilkes Barre growing up the smell of Planter'S peanuts on the square. Some of you folks may not be old enough, but some of you do, am I right?
Yeah.
And the smell was just amazing. The whole city downtown smelled like peanuts, and it was wonderful. So I had that history of growing up. I do want to share a couple of things with you, though, today. As the mayor of the city of Wilkes Barre, when we heard about the fact that the demise of Mr. Peanut was going to happen, concerned us. We have reached out to Planter'S Peanuts and Kraft Foods, who is the parent company, and we'd like to establish, with their help, a Mr. Peanut gallery in the city of Wilkes Barre. And we're going to utilize artifacts that people want to donate, or also we've reached out, as I said, to Kraft Foods to see if they will donate some artifacts. It's going to be a place that people can come and actually see the history of Mr. Peanut and Planter'S Peanuts in the city of Wilkes Barre, where it all began. So my office is working on that, and we'll give the media and the folks an update as that progresses. But our intention is to actually have a location you can come and actually share what took place here 114 odd years ago. So it's in the works, and I'm hoping to get that established and get some news to the media shortly. But I'm happy to be here. Thanks for coming out. And I'm not going to give you any of those salty quotes that Ted did. I'm just going to say thank you for being here. And good things are happening in the city of Wilkes Barre. I'm glad that you're part of it, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor. The next thing I'd like to do is bring up our Director of Marketing and Sales that helped really put a lot of this together for our next introduction, Donna Keys.
Thanks for coming out. We have a great staff. When things like this are being planned, we all come together and we try to do whatever we can to make this a place where we celebrate a lot of wins and a lot of positivity. So we're really excited to have all of you here today. When this idea came up and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do, we knew that there was one person that we can rely on who was going to come out and help us step our game up. And so right now I would like to bring up Mr. THOM GRECO. He has graciously provided all of our displays, helped us design things, and also please don't forget to get your picture taken right here with Mr. Peanut. And Tom made sure that we had these types of things available today. So everybody, Mr. THOM GRECO, thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, we've all been fans of Planter'S Peanuts and Mr. Peanut. And I'd like to first thank Kraft Heinz for giving us the permission and authority to use these signs and props and work with us on building the brand and bringing it back to Wilkes Barre and Luzerne County. I want to thank all the people that worked and helped build the brand, and especially the family members, the Dalzells and Panzitas, that are part of the family that we all remember. David, I'll certainly get that permission to bring Baby Nut in for you.
Sounds good.
And you know, the history here for Luzerne County is Hazleton with Mary Peruzzi, New Angola, as well as Overseas here in Wilkes-Barre. So it truly is a county brand. And Mayor, I certainly want to work with you to whatever we can do to help bring that and materialize. I got the call from Donna and Ted. Brilliant vision. You know, we all mourn the death of 104-year-old Mr. Peanut, but certainly the rebirth for the younger generation will become our next Mr. Peanut. And we hope to use that vision and have a rebirth. Thank you all, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. Just a couple other people I do want to point out that are here today to acknowledge Mike Belusco and John Marconi, City Council, are here. Wave your hands, guys, wherever they are. I know I saw them earlier. They are. Round of applause for those guys for your support. Thank you. I also want to thank members of our board that are here. I saw Will Cunningham and Bob Borwick. So, guys, raise your hand. Thank you very much for your support as well. And Donna started hitting around to it, and Dave mentioned it earlier, but none of this could have been put together as quickly as we did when we found out what the commercials were going to be regarding Mr. Peanut. I do want to thank Megan Felak, Donna Keys, and Gay Novak from my office, and Pat Bonham, who's here as well, for helping to put all this together. So please round of applause for them. Lastly, I'm just looking for some cues. You're going to love this, you really are. As we fondly remember Mr. Peanut, a true icon of Wilkes-Barre and Luzerne County, we invite you now to look above and to your left to the top of the Alley Center for Health Sciences. You'll have to step back a little bit, where our legume legacy and another, albeit younger symbol of the area, Leo the Lion, mascot of King's College, will entertain us with a musical finale to today's ceremony. Thank you all for coming. It means a lot to us. Again, one more time, I will say it. For Luzerne County and the city of Wilkes-Barre, this is who we are. This is the positive image. We are a fun bunch, a great place to come and visit, pass the word. Stick around, get your picture taken with Mr. Peanut, look at some of the memorabilia, Our staff will be around. Thank you so much again for coming.